Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music. Today we're going to review the third album from kind of an up-and-coming artist, Gotye, Making Mirrors. This is the third album from Gotye. He's Belgian-Australian, that's how you just described him to me. I knew he was from Australia, but I didn't realize he was born in Belgium too. Very, very eclectic sound. Tom, can you give us some description of what Making Mirrors? It's kind of a very varied album.
Yeah, it is. I mean, really, it's quite the collection of influences and styles, and that's, I'll just come out and say it, I really like this album. It was like candy to me because of the variety of styles and the perfect marriage of good songwriting with really sharp modern production. That's what I really liked about it, and I like that he's able to actually modernize a lot of influences that harken back to the 60s and 70s. Right. I mean, and that's why this album, I feel like, was just tailor-made for my taste. I can understand why a lot of people might not like it, but I just loved it because you have songs on here that sound like Stevie Wonder, Peter Gabriel, you even Sting, definitely Police. You listen to like Smoke and Mirrors track 5, and when the vocals come in, it sounds almost exactly like Gavin from Dread, something like he would do, not only in the vocals themselves, but in the melody that Gotye wrote. And so all those coming together, all those sounds coming together, it's like, wow, these are some of my favorite artists, and I feel like they're all here on one really well-produced album. So for me, I mean, that's mostly what it comes down to. I mean, there's still a lot more to say about it if you want to get nitpicky into each individual track, but there's a lot of varied instrumentation. The way it's produced makes it so that, you know, there are a lot of little subtleties in the mix. There's not always things just blaring at you, but they'll maybe be, you know, kind of off to the side and quiet, but it all comes together to help make this really strong album.
One of the first things I noticed about this album is that when you have the 12 tracks going in all different directions and styles, and really Gotye is wearing all these different styles and influences on his sleeve, just out there bearing it to everyone. This is where I got these ideas. You know, the one thing that he did that is constant throughout all of them, because that was kind of a struggle for me, is trying to bring all these tracks in and realize that this is all, how is he bringing this into one album? Because it flows very well as an album, which is something that, you know, VIMTV we look for here. The thing that he did that I noticed was every single track on this album, whether the track was more of a loud track or even some of the softer tracks, like the closer, Bronte, is that how you say it?
I think so.
And you have a cadence on every of some sort, a cadence on every track where there is a faster paced, you know, some sort of percussive element to it. And specifically, that keeps this energy flowing on all the tracks, and even allows, while a lot of the tracks are like 3 to 3.5 minutes long, there's a couple tracks that creep into the 5-minute range, and it still keeps those tracks flowing. It keeps the album a nice pace throughout the album, and keeps the listener involved. It has a lot of energy, and I think that was a very strategic move by Gotye, and one that I actually respect a lot. Now, I think that most people have really gotten into this album because of that crazy, the second single from this album, Somebody That I Used to Know, and that crazy video of the 5 people on the guitar that is going around. We'll post it on our page. I think that has brought a lot of attention to Gotye, which is good, because Gotye is, you know, a pretty high quality act right now. You know, I kind of look at Gotye as a more poppy, experimental pop version of like somebody like Elbow. You know, kind of a new take on some old sounds. Now, one of the criticisms, Tom, that I have, and I don't know if I've spoken with you about this, but see where you go with this.
Okay, yeah.
I kind of see that all these different influences, you know, that Gotye's wearing on his just, you know, pimp jacket, just covered with influences. I feel like at times he doesn't make the sound his enough. You know, in our one of the previous reviews we did, where we reviewed Of Montreal, I mentioned how Of Montreal does such a good job of showing all their influences, but owning them too, making them there and putting their stamp on it. I don't really feel like Gotye does that all the time here, and really the only track that I feel he really accomplishes this is on Somebody That I Used to Know. That track to me is Gotye. Now all the other tracks, I feel like I can see where Gotye is coming out, but I see so much influence governing the sound that it kind of makes me a little cold on it. So that's really, to me, that's one of the main things that held it back.
I see what you mean. Sometimes with the songwriting, with these styles that he's going for, it seems like he closed his eyes and went, I want to do this sound, and then went for it, rather than just being naturally inspired to do something like that. And I mean, that's kind of a half-assed criticism, because I'm sure that he didn't actually do that.
Right.
I'm sure that it did come from his heart, and he wanted to make music like this. You know, that's just the way it formed. I don't know what other word I was looking for. But at the same time, it doesn't sound as natural as it probably should have if that was the process.
Now, in his defense, these tracks are completely catchy. And I mean, one thing that I can't get away from when listening to Making Mirrors is how deliberate everything is. Yeah. Everything sounds so specific, and every sound that you hear is so just designed, and I love that. It's so pristine. The production could not have been more flawless. It just, to me, really just, there's this level of professionalism that Gotye is just executing. He's just surgically just providing you with these tracks, and you hear exactly what you wanted to hear. That's a high quality listen, and I really got into it. I like this album. I'm sitting at an 84 right now. Like I said, the only thing keeping this out of the 90s for me is the fact that I feel like that he doesn't own his sound enough. I would like to see more Gotye, more honest, just what is Gotye in 2012.
I'm going to give it an 86. I really liked it.
Yeah, so we're in the mid-80s with this one. That's a stamp of approval from VIMTV. Definitely check this one out. We understand that everyone out there might not love this as much as we do, but we definitely want to hear your opinion. So leave us a comment at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. Also, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, because that's where we do most of our talking about the albums and with our fans. And to tell you the truth, that's where we learn about a lot of the new artists that are coming out. So you guys play an active role in that, so we appreciate your participation. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
I put the G-Bass on, so my left hand can play the choir, with 16-foot diapason on.